One of the things about Lincoln's notion of the nation is that he gradually understood that he and Americans of his time were creating it. He seldom used the word nation early in his career. And as you proceed through the Civil War, he starts using the nation again and again. He didn't use it at all, I think I'm remembering correctly, in his first inaugural. And he always said he was going to save the Union. By the time you get to the Gettysburg Address, this short address of only 269 words, he uses the word nation 9 times. And it is a nation, this nation is going to bring this rebirth of freedom then. So he is gradually moving from a conception that is the conception of the Founding Fathers, which is a kind of a union. But a nation is something more than that. A nation has a kind of emotional power that people attach to it. It is also much more consolidated. It is a nation unified. That the states, Woodrow Wilson said before the Civil War, the states and the nation were like parallel, next to each other. After the Civil War, there was no question that the nation was on top. And this is what Lincoln is gradually coming to articulate in some of his most famous speeches. There was a kind of preconditioning of the notion of nation that of all people in the United States, I think Lincoln and William Seward, his Secretary of State, former governor of New York, understood the best and started articulating. And Seward and Lincoln, to a lesser extent, talked about a variety of things happening in the United States, the way it was being tied together by the telegraph, by railroads, by larger organizations. There's a capacity to govern, a bureaucratic capacity is increasing, so that one could have a government that was somewhat more centralized than it was before. I think that's part of it. And then managing these huge armies. And one of the great remarkable things is the management of the Union Army. This is one of the things European generals marveled at, how the telegraph and railroads were used to move troops strategically and quickly to new battlefields. All of these kinds of new capacities that technology, to a large extent, had made possible, I think made the notion of a nation as a real active, functioning instrument, I guess I'll call it, that was not a part of the notion of a union, which was simply a kind of a confederation, a better confederation than the Articles of Confederation, but still pretty much a confederation that didn't propose to do much. The Republican Party thought they were going to restructure the whole social structure of the South through the use of the nation state. That's something that was not even conceived of in the Jacksonian period. Jackson is seen as a strong president, but the largest agency that he had was the post office by far. It was I think, something like 7/8 of the federal budget went to the post office. I mean, it's a very different government that comes out of the Civil War.